Good morning. Today I want to talk about recovery, my version of recovery, because I'm 11 years sober, going on 12 this summer. And also because it's in my face, I saw a friend of mine hung over there yesterday, and I was like, thank God I don't do that anymore because, or like get to that point because it got too expensive. That's what it was to me. It was too expensive on my body, on my mood, on the precious time that I've got here, especially being somebody who didn't want to be alive a few times in my life. So I just, I want to like honor my body and like these other things. It's not coming from a judgmental place or saying that it's like not human. Like go out, socialize, have fun, like all of the things. Like everybody deserves it. And there was a time in my life where that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I did it, and I don't regret those times of of like any of it either because it was exactly what I wanted in that time, and that can be freeing too. Be bad can be freeing and feel good. So, like, yeah, let's enjoy this life and our own unique path and who we are as human. I also am bringing it up because my sister is 33 days sober. So, yay, Janelle. She is on her own little journey. And I think anybody who's been down this path, has their own unique story to honor. Myself, even though, like, it's true, 11 years sober, going on 12 is not the whole story. In that time, I relapsed my first year, and like I really say this to like honor it and anybody else. Like I still include that first year as part of my sobriety because I learned so much in that time about myself. Oh, it's 11:11. Oh, beautiful time. Sorry. So I must be on the right path right here sharing this. So yeah, like that year I, would binge. Sometimes the drinking would turn into like other substances or um, being like more promiscuous, like with behaviors and just like risky behavior and things too. So, there was like this cycle, this spiral that came from drinking, and I had to recognize that. I also didn't want to be a smoker, and I would smoke when I was drinking. So really drinking was a behavior that led to a lot of things. So when I talk about sobriety, I don't think it was like cocaine and things that I was addicted to. I actually hated the come down of it, but I've done more of it than a lot of people have in their life, same and many other substances too. Sometimes I didn't even care to know what a substance was. I just wanted to be a part of it. And I think, there's something to say about honoring the whole story. That first year I did learn a lot. And for a while I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a failure and there was shame and guilt and things around it. But then I realized that it was part of the healing and where I actually learned a lot, and that honoring those parts of it actually freed me up to be who I am today. I've been able to say no. I have been able to sit in social settings, be fully present, non-judgmental, not triggered, just genuinely enjoying myself. I learned a lot about myself. I have bonded with people in these settings. Recovery to me is not about being rigid or abstinence. It's about whether or not an addiction, a thought, a behavior, a habit is hooking you. It's about whether or not you feel free. It's about if you're at peace in your body. It's about if you're escaping your life or if you're living it. For a long time, substances and hooks were there for me, like in my behaviors, in my habits. I still see it today. Sometimes sometimes I'll get into the nail biting habit or like literally picking at myself. And it's always because I'm picking on myself or dwelling or obsessing about something inside of myself. And then I have to go in and like, where's that emotion? Like, where's it stemming from? When was the first time I felt this way? And correct it. And I see triggers now as triggers and fears, both of them. Actually, I see them more like a compass to like, that's my work to do. And like Nako Bear, you know, he had some medicine to share, and he in one of his songs, it's all about that the work is never done. And it's true, the work is never done. The reason why these substances hooked me isn't because I'm weak, and it's not because you're weak either. It's because we're dysregulated. There's a lot of highly sensitive individuals that have very addictive behaviors and these mental health issues. And it's because we don't fit into this society, and we're actually here, you know, in this dynamic time of human history to create a new reality, not this digital virtual reality that's being pushed on us through dominating culture, but a beautiful community of healers that are connected to nature and connected to each other and have open hearts. You know, it's about also like my own unprocessed avoidant issues, not just the sensitivity to this culture. You know, it's also about the emotions that need to be metabolized that maybe we're aware or not aware of, and that show up in triggers. And that's what I was talking about with the compass. You know, like, this is real lifetime work. Sometimes life gets really, really loud. If we don't hear it the first time that something bad happens, sometimes life gets a little bit louder and louder and louder until it's yelling at you and in your face and saying like, hey, like, you have to take a look at these things, like what's coming up for you. And then sit there with it, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable, then sit longer. Alcohol wasn't the problem. It was escaping. And the moment that I would escape, I would feel a little free. I didn't care about consequence. And then there would be a spiral, and sometimes it would take a while to unravel and start walking my path again. And then it takes even longer to get clear. You know, even if you do know your purpose and what you need to do, it's like these little automatic negative thoughts, these ants like colonize and will start swaying you. It's not a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. It's that every atom and cell in our body has a positive and a negative charge, and we literally have to take our own sacred responsibility and choose where we put our energy, what energy we want in us, and what energy we want to let out of us, and what ones we need to express in the healthy ways to do that. And this is where I really want to bring up a piece of work that really helped me. It's something that I love from Napoleon Hill's work, Outwitting the Devil. And there is a free YouTube version called Interview with the Devil, but I really love the unedited paperback. Anyways, like, it's all about, you know, and to your genetic. This is like the epigenetic thing. We have the power and a sacred responsibility to turn them on and off. So what the real devil is this mindset of drifting. And this is how the devil and the automatic negative thoughts get in. It's an unconscious habit, and it then cycles and becomes an even stronger ingrained highway and habit and way of being. It's all about fear and ego and control and impulses. But recovery is really, for me anyways, about outwitting that and knowing your patterns and observing yourself and tracking things. It's about understanding your nervous system and doing the subtle little things you can to just unlock emotions, to feel the fear, to feel the emotions, feel whatever, and just free it. to recognize when you numb and instead stay very present. Like those are the moments I'm saying where it's like if it feels uncomfortable, you stay a little bit longer. If you can't quiet your mind, then you stay a little longer in meditation. You know, for me, real recovery is about homeostasis, that internal balance. Maybe because I'm a Libra and I just really, you know, love the yin yang teachings, the light and the dark and the light, and just ride that wave in the middle. You know, I, you know, ask myself very often, you know, how can I regulate my body? Can I feel grief without drowning in it? And how do I do these things? You know, joy without sabotage, and boredom without reaching for stimulation. You know, this is a big one for our kids. I see that in Finn so much, and my friends' children too. It's very nice to have friends though that do regulate tech time and balance it very well. We need more families doing this, coming together to have these kinds of restrictions and keeping our kids occupied, because, you know, boredom, there's so many blessings in that. That's where our creativity and our imagination comes in. You know, it's also about desire without being controlled and overconsumed by it, like that show Lucifer, when he shows people or has people, you know, share with him what their deepest desires are, even if they're dark. It's not that the devil was doing the thing. The person chooses to fulfill those desires. It's still the person's choice. It's not the devil. It's, you know, all this sacred responsibility. So that's recovery. I know also that the 12-step program has helped millions of people, and I honor that. Bill Wilson, one of the co-founders of AA, was deeply influenced by spiritual experiences. There's a historical record that explored psychedelic-assisted spiritual experience later in life, believing they could help alcoholics access the kind of transformative insight that originally sparked AA. I'm just gonna pick Riley up here. She woke up from a little nap. Hey, baby. Mommy's gonna finish working, but I'll hold you, okay? Say hi. Yeah, so you wanna say hi? Say hi. Say hi. He's still tired, hey? Yeah, so Carl Jung, he also influenced early recovery thought. He spoke about spiritual experiences being the real cure, not willpower alone. So again, like him and Bill Wilson, they were really including psychedelics as part of the AA program originally. But institutions, they just formalized things, like religion became more central and psychedelics were removed from that. You know, it's unfortunately by design, and you know, it's just like a switch of the narrative. But I'm not here to like actually bash any religion. I'm not here to tell anybody what path to take. I'm here more just to say that there are ancient tools and modern tools, and we're allowed to have really mature conversations about both. You know, there is an integration. Same with in the nutrition space. Like there's all this technology today, and like real mouth pleasure, but there's also, you know, the old ways of food being medicine and fermenting, and you know, all of our taste buds being ignited every day and eating the rainbow every day. So yeah, I guess I'll get back on topic because I do have to go soon. Today, research institutions are studying psychedelic assisted therapy for addiction, trauma, depression, and there's really promising results there. I'm gonna sit down with her, so just bear with me a second. Maybe she nurses a little bit. She's at this stage now where she's like a little, like, yeah, like a feral little cub. She's finding her strength and her voice and so much. Yeah, so The psychedelic assisted therapy is helping with addiction, trauma, depression. It's not just this party drug. It's not about escapism or escaping anything. Sure, mushrooms especially can be super entertaining at times, but these are also tools that likely allowed us to evolve our brains. There's a lot of science between around neuroplasticity. Yeah, so which is like us growing new brain cells. There's a lot about dampening the default mode network, essentially allowing that neuroplasticity. So instead of going with our natural, not our natural patterns, but like our program behaviors, we're then stretched to find new ways into, I don't know, it's just really incredible things. I'm going to stay on topic here though with recovery today. We will talk about the brain on another one. But as like these like interrupters of rigid patterns, like it's just a really powerful tool. And they don't even have to be the psychedelic mushrooms or psychedelic. There's a lot of entheogens and tonics and homeopathy and Ayurvedic herbs that can do a lot of this stuff too. And I'm be happy to sit with any of you and, you know, do a health history and figure out where you're at and what plants may be useful to help, or what exercises or whatever, you know, mindset shifts. So this is where that integration part comes in. It's not just about the substance, it's about all of these other facets too. It's about a nervous system reset. It's about yeah, just the psychedelic being a catalyst for insight, if that makes sense, because addiction isn't about the substance. It's about disconnection, dysregulation, trauma, lack of meaning, lack of purpose. Recovery for me is more about alignment and integration. And I think that psychedelics have a place here because they help you see things if you're willing to face them. And then once you know, you can't unknow, and the shift happens, a change happens. And then you can take that sacred responsibility because you see and you know what your work is to do. Oh my. I haven't talked this much all weekend. I think I was doing like baby noises. Okay. So, what's my natural state? What happens when I'm regulated, when I'm sleeping well, when I'm eating well, when I'm living my purpose, when I'm honest, when I'm aligned with my dharma or that purpose, ikigai, what I'm here to create and contribute. You know, how can I be in service? Who can I inspire? Who inspires me? You know, it's not about escape. That is the integration work. Those are the questions I'm asking myself. Addicted tendencies are not flaws. It's just intensity. It's sensitivity. It's pattern recognition. There is depth and also like this hunger for transcendence. Like Hecate, you know, she is the goddess that can open the gates of hell. She can walk between worlds. She can take people from the living hell and bring them back to ascension, to creating heaven on earth. You know, again, the work is never done. It's still ours to do. You know, the mushrooms aren't doing it all for us. Nothing is, you know, that's where responsibility is. You know, I like with addictions, you know, it's untamed. And I mean, I reflect a lot about being like a feral woman. But there's also mindsets that I develop and healing work that I'm doing. It's not that I'm untamed, as I choose to be free and sovereign. You know, I know what my mental saboteurs are and what my demons are, and I have faced them in order to not self-destruct, in order to make those addictive behaviors, make those medical mental health diagnosis, like make them superpowers to be integrated. You know, so that same brain that was diagnosed OCD, that obsesses, can actually focus, and that same nervous system that spirals can be attuned very deeply, and that craving for escape can be a craving for truth. Recovery is not about pretending that the addiction never existed. It's about integrating it. It's knowing that I'm someone who can drift, who is imperfect, but also knowing that I'm someone who can choose, and that I am in power, and that I can claim that power, and also surrender, not be attached to outcomes, that things are going to be okay. I'm strong enough now that, you know, that faith has been developed, that it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Even when it's hard to swallow, even when it's hard in the moment, to be able to see beyond it and be uncomfortable and do the hard things. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. And here's something else that may be controversial, because for me, freedom looks like this. If I never drink again, it's fine. You know, I would still be free. But if I'm in a room with alcohol and I don't care, then I'm free. If I have one sip and I stop, it's okay, because I genuinely don't want more. There's no spiral, and I'm still free. That is freedom. It's not that I'm going to have a drink because I'm sad, or because I'm mad, or because I'm happy and celebrating, because that would mean I'm having a drink in an extreme. But if I'm at peace and the time feels good and the music's good and it's like good in the moment, it's not there to like enhance, but to maybe just bond or connect. It's not about confidence or ego. It's about just, again, like being in that moment without, especially if the nervous system is regulated, if the trauma work is being done, if the spiritual work is being done, if there's embodiment, if there's integration of the moment, if there's there doesn't always have to be purpose per se, but if I know what my purpose is and I'm still living in that and it's not interfering, then it's not about abstinence. And so I just want to be clear that some people may need strict abstinence. I definitely have for years at a time, you know, and this is why I can confidently have this conversation and be mature and honor it all. I also do want to say, though, that there are some nervous systems that cannot re-engage safely, and that is valid. Recovery is not one size fits all, and neither is healing. My recovery is about feeling the feels in real time. It's about freeing them instead of storing them. It's about integrating the shadow and the light. It's about turning mental health challenges into medicine, living aligned with purpose. With that purpose. Yes. It's about being present with my children. About building something meaningful. It's about not needing to escape my own life. You know, that is recovery. Addiction taught me where I was disconnected, where I had work to do, and sobriety has taught me discipline, integration. The best one, where I love doing the work most, you know, that taught me freedom. And freedom is being able to sit in my own body without wanting to leave it. It's about building a life that I don't need a vacation from. So yeah, if this resonates, I mean, I gotta go here. Like, I got both kids with me today. Finn's been so great reading while I've been doing this, but yeah, I've gotta go be a mom. So yeah, if this resonates, if you're questioning your own version of recovery, if you have a recovery story to share, if you feel caught between rigid abstinence and chaotic freedom, I want you to know that there is a middle path, probably many of them. There is a conscious path, a path of integration, and you're allowed to walk any path you want with awareness, humility, and support. Recovery is not about being perfect. It is about being present and choosing again and again and again to outwit that drifter. So with this, I love you guys. Bye for now. Do you want to say bye, Riley? Say bye.